Bane broke Batman's body, but then came for his mind. So we're going to be talking about a Batman showdown that quite frankly is unlike anything you've ever seen before. I'm talking about Batman vs. Bane in the Absolute Batman series, and let me tell you, it will change how you see these two characters forever. You know how when you think about Batman vs. Bane, you already have that classic image in your head? Yeah, that one. The moment where Bane breaks the bat. But in the Absolute Batman universe, Scott Snyder and Nick DeGrota take that iconic beat and twist into something far more chilling and raw. Forget about just a physical fight. This is a high stakes chess match where Bane dismantles Batman's pieces one by one. So first things first, we need to talk about Bane. He's not just the brute we're used to. He's got brains too, and a whole lot of it. So while Batman is looking all over Gotham City for Waylon Jones in issue number 9, Bane is at a peace conference for two warring nations, and he's oddly calm. In fact, he's almost polite. A little too polite. He tells the leaders that their talks have broken down, and then almost as naturally as he breathes, he crushes one of their skulls with his bare hand, forces a survivor to take the blame, and reignites the war. Right away, Snyder and DeGrota are showing us that Bane here is supposed to be an evil mastermind. And that's important because from here on out, everything he does or has already done to Batman is like cornering your opponent on a chessboard. Speaking of Batman, as I said, he is looking for Waylon. It's been weeks since he's disappeared, and Bruce is finally getting desperate. Again, I want to keep in mind that this Bruce doesn't have the same resources like the old Batman we're used to, the same network, the same trust fund as the Batman that we're used to. Everything he does is also messier, which is why after Barbara Gordon's file ends up taking him to Ark M, the prison which is actually a decoy for a massive underground complex, he walks directly into Bane's trap. There he is, waiting for Batman in the shadows. Now, this is the first physical confrontation between them, and it's just Bane trying to break Bruce psychologically. He effortlessly counters all of Batman's attacks, and when Bruce tries to taunt him, Bane reveals that he hasn't even used his venom yet, saying that, "You calling me juiced up? Bro, I haven't used this stuff yet, but if you want to see what it does," he then activates the venom. His body goes berserk right now, and Batman is just completely outmatched. The 9th issue concludes with Bane holding Bruce by the skull and declaring that he will prepare Batman for surgery. Next, in issue 10, we see the absolute brutality of Absolute Batman. First, Bruce wakes up in his cell. He is naked and heavily sedated. But because he's still Batman, he has a lockpick hidden in the roof of his mouth, almost like prepping. If someone's gonna capture me, I'm having everything in me right now so I can escape. So he tries to escape, but he quickly gets caught and knocked unconscious by Bane. 45 days have passed and Bruce seems broken. He's despondent and refuses to eat, but as you'd expect, this is just a trick. When the people come in for him, he attacks them using his knuckle dusters made from his own teeth, and then we see Batman's resourcefulness, fullness in all of his dirty glory as he uses explosives made from his urine and bat guano to blow up a hole in his wall cell. But once again, Bane intercepts him. 91 days into his imprisonment, Bruce has endured 2 weeks of surgeries, and he's the first person to survive the full cycle. Now, he's bald, he's covered in green scars, and he's also appears to be mentally broken. So as a final test, Bane and the lead researcher, Dr. Arkham, place his bat suit in his cell. Bruce screams and he pulls away, wrestling with himself, but he finally puts on the suit anyway, which shows that despite everything, the will to be Batman is still there. Bruce makes a final escape attempt, but is confronted by horrifying human-animal hybrids that beg him to kill him and end the pain. Suddenly, instead of Bruce doing it, Bane appears and casually just slaughters them, ending their pain right then and there, and things get even crazier. We're introduced to Waylon Jones again, who has been turned into reptilian monster Killer Croc, but for what it's worth, Bruce and Waylon managed to escape from Ark M. Now moving on to issue 11, where the story shifts gears and gives us some context of what Bane really is in his continuity. His story begins in Santa Prisca, a Caribbean island done in by endless war and foreign exploitation. And even though he fought in a rebellion to free his country, the movement got crushed, and he was thrown into the infamous Peñadura prison. He was there for over a decade until he escaped, and then he was offered a deal by Absolute Joker, and the deal was simple: kill his own father and pledge loyalty, and in exchange, Santa Prisca would prosper. Bane accepted it. And brutal experiments were done on him until his body was enhanced to impossible levels and his mind became a weapon with photographic memory and a mastery of every single fighting style. Now, this background lore just increases the stakes because Alfred knows Bane will destroy everyone close to Bruce. And then we have issue 12 where we see that the exact plan in motion. While Bruce is still coping with the venom in his system forced into his body, Bane begins to attack his friends directly. So every bone was broken in Ozzy's body, just done by Bane. Harvey's skull is split and his face is burnt, creating Two-Face. And Eddie loses a riddle contest to Bane and is left brain damaged, if you will. Each of these attacks send a clear message that Bruce's fight is meaningless. His allies and his support system, all of them can and will be taken away. At this point, Bruce himself nearly gives in, but then Alfred steps in and tells Bruce that yes, Bane has broken your friends, but only you, Bruce, can decide if Bane will break you too. This is where the commentary of the arc becomes clear. It's about identity. It's about whether Bane can continue to exist when every part of his world is being dismantled around him. Now, before Bruce can fully respond, the Batcave's alarm sound. Expecting Bane, Bruce and Alfred arm themselves because they expect it to be Bane, but it's not Bane. It's Selina Kyle, absolute Catwoman, and she's here for her own agenda. And there you guys go. This is how Bane broke Batman's body. Now he's coming for his mind. And it's just crazy how all this is playing out because Bane's campaign against Batman across these issues plays out exactly like the Grandmaster match it's meant to be. From the very first strike at Arkham, he's been less interested in crushing Bruce's body than in stripping away his defenses, his allies, and even his sense of self. Each move, whether it's beating him physically, tormenting him with disgusting experiments, or dismantling Ozzy, Harvey, and Eddie, has been about leaving Batman with fewer and fewer pieces left on the board. Again, by the time Selina arrives, Bruce is quite literally on the edge, but the match isn't over. What do you think will happen next? My personal opinion, at the time of this recording, we'll see how this plays out. Absolute Bane has to go. He cannot live, and I don't know how Absolute Batman is going to break his no-kill rule, or is he going to break it, which creates another level of complexity with Bruce? But or is Alfred going to do it and it just creates a whole nother layer too? I don't know, but Absolute Bane has got to go, but it's going to be interesting how the writing of the story plays out. But what are you guys' thoughts? Comment below, let me know.